7 things you need to do to your bakery premises for it to meet international food safety standards. We will explain this today. But before I start, remember in our previous episode, we talked about 6 structural things you need to check in a premises before you commit yourself. Now, assuming you've gotten a premises that suits according to those requirements, what are you supposed to do to that premises to ensure that you produce safe standards that will minimize your contamination, minimize your losses, and minimize any issue of lawsuits that could occur as a result of food poisoning? The following are the 7 things you need to do to your building to ensure that it meets international food safety standards. 1, entry of staff must be, at least if possible, separated from entry of raw materials or exit of final baked products. Why is this important? Because the door where the staff comes in is where everyone else will come in, including unauthorized personnel. For example, you have technicians working on the building, or you have technicians coming to service your equipment. So these technicians might not be health tested. Maybe they don't have health certificate. Also, they might not have appropriate clothing, or also they might not have disinfected their hands. So that is why, in such a case, if we have unauthorized personnel but who have to come into the bakery, they need to follow a layout procedure before they enter. They need to wear a white lab coat, they need to disinfect their hands, they need to disinfect their feet, they need probably to wear paper gloves, and so on and so forth. So that is why where the staff enters must be separated from where raw materials enter and where the final product enters. So point number 2, which is very, very important, raw material storage. Remember, in our layout, we'll show that it's mandatory to have a store which is under lock and key. So that store must have certain conditions that make it ideal for storage of raw materials. One of them is good air circulation to minimize accumulation of fungus and molds and everything. Also, natural light is important because it will help to reduce the number of molds and fungus. Also, most important, the floor must be raised with wooden pallets for the case of storage of flour. This avoids growth of fungus and molds like aflatoxin, which causes aflatoxin poisoning. And this is very important because you have to do that to ensure that your floor is raised where you are going to store your flour, where you are going to store your other products like yeast boxes, small tins for flavors and everything. You can create above that a stainless steel rack which is lockable so that you can have a very decent way of storing your products. And the other most important, number 3, you need to do to your premises to make it international food safety standard compliant is tiling. You need to tile the entire area where you do your mixing, where you do where the mixing area, dough preparation area, proofing area, oven area, and post-baking area. You can use white ordinary tiles, but on the oven area you have to use heat-resistant tiles, because if you use ordinary tiles, what will happen is that the ordinary tiles will come out because of heat. Number 4, you need to do proper design of the structure to keep off mice, rodents, other small insects, squirrels, and everything. Why? Assuming it's at night, maybe you are not working, and suddenly we have product that is supposed to be supplied tomorrow in the market. And you know what? When you leave the bakery, suddenly we have some visitors, mice, rodents, and everything going all over the baked product. I think that is something that would be very unprofessional and actually would really reflect very bad on part of the bakery. So that's why when you design the premise, you have to ensure that you don't allow crevices or entry points or free points where mice, rodents can enter and dominate your bakery when you are not there. Number 5, you need to think about hanging UV lights. UV lights which act as insect trappers. They trap insects because sometimes you have a lot of flies or anything. So use of UV light will help to electrocute these insects and reduce the amount of insects in your building. And finally, which is one of the most important things you need to do to ensure that your bakery meets international food safety standards, you have to provide lockable cabinets for your staff, especially those members of staff involved in production. Why is this necessary? It's because they have personal items like coins, wallets, and such things, and banknotes and everything. These have been shown scientifically to be highly contaminated with bacteria, fungus, and all kinds of contamination. And that is why when you provide them a place where they can enter, and before they go to the production, they can put their personal items there, wallets, personal clothing, personal shoes, and lock them under lock and key. Even sometimes mobile phones, if they are not using them in production. And therefore, after that, they will wear in appropriate factory clothing, factory shoes, and maybe gloves and hairnets and so on and so forth. That transition ensures that they leave their personal items behind and they wear disinfected factory clothing. But it cannot happen without a proper changing room and everyone to have their own lockable cabinets. You don't want to have issues at the end of the day. I lost my phone, I don't know this and that. So that's why giving them that chance gives them confidence to be able to leave their personal things behind. Remember, things also like necklaces, earrings, bangles also are highly contaminated with bacteria. And that is why they need to be kept under lock and key before you enter the production area. So that is just a brief view. Remember, we have developed a complete international food safety system, hazard analysis at critical control points, HACCP, and FIFO, fast in, fast out principle. Check the link on this description and give us your views. What do you think about these safety standards that we have developed? Are they okay? Are they up to standard? What do you think about it? Is there anything you can add or leave? And we've used this for the last 7 years. Some of our clients, when we are designing and advising, and they have worked very well.